a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Hallmark movies.
And I'm Erin, and I am in the Hallmark movies.
And this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy.
Oh boy.
This is it. We can shut the show down now.
No.
This is it.
We
this
can.
is the last episode we ever have to do.
Yes.
We got Erin
This is
Krakow.
it. We did it.
If you can believe it.
Erin, welcome to the podcast.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me.
We have so much to talk about. You have a movie coming out this weekend. We got When Calls the Heart that kicked off last week, and so much to talk about. But really what I want to know is, how are you? How are you doing?
Oh, it's very sweet.
Thank
I
you.
think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm a little hungry. I'll have a snack after this, but I'm good.
More than
How are
fair.
you?
More than
That's
fair.
fair.
She asked how you were.
Oh, I'm doing great. I had a really
Good.
yummy lunch, and I'm just happy to be
Oh,
here.
here
I'm
we go. What did you have?
I had some chicken. There's a really good chicken spot down the street.
Yeah.
They have this.
It's hot chicken. It's like Nashville. We're in South Carolina. It's like Nashville hot chicken.
Yes.
But
So good.
they
Great.
have a temperature that's honey mild, so it's like it's a little bit of heat, but with some honey in there, and it's the best. And it's like a minute from my house, so I'm living my life right, is what I think I'm
right.
trying to say. So
I like it.
Pretty exciting.
Erin, I know you do a lot of interviews. How many people say Krakow instead of Krakow?
A fair amount, but that's okay. I think Krakow has a nice sort of what is it, like an onomatopoeia thing. It's got an exciting like popcorn sort of vibe to it, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
But yes, it is Krakow. It's Erin Krakow.
Yeah, Krakow, we knew that. We would never mess it up. Our fans thought we would mess it up if we ever interviewed.
Yeah,
because
so take that, fans.
That's right. You don't know us. But I just imagine it's something that has to be phonetically, like you have to do a lot of interviews. When Calls the Heart, season 8, bigger than it's ever been. People are going to do it all the time. Do you just let it slide? Do you just kind of just keep going with the interview, or do you correct them?
No, I just let it go.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal to me. I mean, honestly, that's probably the origin of the last name. I think it was pronounced Krakow or Krakow or something. So it doesn't really matter to me. As long as you get Erin right, I'm good.
Yeah, that's a tough one to screw up. Erin Krakow is here today. That's unbelievable. Yeah.
Erin, we always like to start at the beginning and try to get a feel for when you kind of caught the acting bug. So where were you born, and at what point did you kind of get interested in acting, and how did that develop for you early on?
Do you want my social security number too?
Yeah, if you don't
Banking
mind.
card
It
would be great.
it wouldn't hurt.
I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I lived there until I was like 7, 8. And then my family and I moved down to South Florida, where I grew up. And then as far as when I started acting, I was an only child until I was 5.5 when my little brother was born. And I was very used to getting all of the attention. And that was sort of the moment where I realized I was going to need to step up my game, because I was now having to share the attention with this adorable baby. So that was where things like school plays and just like, dancing around the house started.
Do you remember a specific school play that you just feel like that was the one you knocked
really
it out of the
shined.
park? Like that was when Erin really became Erin.
I mean, yeah, that was good. Which is it? Shone?
I was probably shy.
We don't have to write any scripts. None of us. That's the
No,
good news.
That's right. Sheen.
I have a memory of playing Mother Goose in a Mother Goose play in like second grade,
Yeah.
and that was
That's the
pretty
one.
big
I
for
read the
me.
reviews for that one. That was
Yeah, that was in Philadelphia. That's a tough crowd.
It's a tough
You don't
crowd.
just play Mother Goose in Philly and get away with it.
I mean, they
as a
threw
second grader.
snowballs at Santa, for
Good
God's sake.
gosh. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So you started doing the acting and the school plays and stuff, and how did it kind of develop from there? Did you say, hey, give me an agent, and your parents were like, cool, let's do that? How did it develop for you?
No. I didn't really start working professionally until I'd graduated drama school when I got up to New York. I went to a performing arts high school, which was fantastic. Happened to be like 20 minutes from where we lived, and it was a great education. And I realized that I wanted to actually pursue this as a career. So I I went to drama school for college and then started doing plays, and yeah.
Were your parents pretty cool about you deciding, hey, I'm going to act, Mom. I know I'm about to graduate high school. I'm going to act for a living. Like, I'm just going to take the leap and act. Were they cool with that?
They were, and they are. My parents have always told my brother and I that we need to just follow our dreams and do the thing that makes us happy. So I was very lucky to have parents who were so supportive of my lifestyle. Yeah.
Man, of course.
A performing arts high school, that sounds awesome, especially if you're interested in that kind of thing. How many people, like, going out of a performing arts high school kind of pursue that, some sort of the arts full-time moving out?
I don't really know. I don't know about the numbers or the percentages. In my friend group alone, there were a fair number of us who went on to pursue drama in college. So yeah, I'm not really sure.
And where did you go to college? Did you mention that?
I went to college at Juilliard in New York.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of it. Have you heard of Juilliard? I think.
No, I think I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of something else.
Man, so just a real rags to riches story here. Yeah. So, are you okay, Erin? You gonna make it?
Great. So great.
Okay. So you're in Juilliard, that just ragamuffin school up in New York, and you're just doing play. Are you at that point? Do you have an agent looking for work, or you focus on school and then pursue it as a profession afterwards?
Yeah, there really isn't time to be working on anything professionally during school there. I mean, we were working, I think, like 14-hour days. So, but we were constantly rehearsing plays while we were there. So that was great. We were getting to actually put into practice the things that we were studying.
So what was the first big break? What was the thing out of Juilliard that you got hired for and you said, oh my goodness, this is it. I'm an actor?
Oh, it's a really good question. I mean, I think my first play professionally out of school was at the Classic Stage Company. I did a production of Prometheus Bound, which actually starred David Oyelowo, who's had quite the career. He was incredible. So that was probably my first gig after graduation.
What's your favorite before performing? Like, you know, I feel like whenever they do like a movie and they show like an acting school, there's always like doing that before you act or before you do an audition. You know what I'm talking about? Do you have one of those where you really just give it all you got to get ready?
I don't really do that.
Okay,
anymore.
well, I want to.
That sounds like a lie, Erin.
Erin has one.
Sounds like
you have one?
Erin has a vocal warm up. She does. She's not sharing with us. I know it.
Okay, all right. I will say, if I were doing a play again and I was performing for a house of 1,200 or whatever it may be, I would absolutely do a warm up. I'd do a vocal warm up. I'd do a physical warm up, and then if I, on occasion I've had to sing on One Calls the Heart, and so I'll typically do a bit of a vocal warm up before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my honest answer.
Okay, there we go.
We always
now
go deck the homework, deck the homework, deck, something like that, and it really gets us going before every.
That's good. We got it. If you pay for the Bramble Gym Plus subscription, you get all that stuff.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So what's the juicy, guys?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're signing up. I can tell. So let me ask you this: TV wise, what commercial TV show? What was your first entry point into television?
Oh, I had a tiny role on Guiding Light. I think I did 2 episodes. I was probably cut from one. That was me dipping a toe, and then I got this incredible opportunity to play an Army medic on Lifetime's Army Wives, and I did that for 3 seasons in your home state. I think you're in South Carolina.
That's right. Yep, Army Wives.
Right.
Film.
So we shot in Charleston.
That's right, in Charleston, about 3 hours away. In fact, Jen Lilly was down there shooting a movie, and we got to go on set and hang out a little bit. So it was fun.
So cool.
Yeah.
So she's your favorite.
She has a podcast on our network about foster children. So if we say she's not our favorite, then we're monsters, Erin. But
that's great. That's great.
If you want to have a podcast on our network, I mean, we could make some adjustments. I feel like maybe rescue animals.
I don't think. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be very good at a podcast. You guys are doing great, but I'd love to rescue animals so we could talk about some kind of.
I like it.
Collab.
So you spent 3 years, not 3 full years, but probably 25, 30 weeks in Charleston then?
something like that. I don't know how many weeks, but I loved my time there.
What was your favorite part of being in our home state?
The food.
Yes. Yeah, that's the right answer.
Correct answer.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
so great.
So good. Oh my gosh. There was like, you would never have to repeat the same restaurant twice if you wanted to try a whole bunch of new stuff. It was delicious. Very, very hard to eat healthy though. I'll say that.
we don't even try. Why try? Do you have a favorite? Do you remember a favorite meal in Charleston?
You know, there's a coconut cake at a place.
You're off to a good start.
Downtown that was like, however, I don't know how many layers, but I might dream about that tonight.
You remember the most important thing, the coconut cake. That's right.
Cake.
I love it.
Really good.
Your IMDb is unique to a lot of the people that we get to interviews, because a lot of them have a lot of one-off episodes on this show and that show before ending up at Hallmark. And in your case, you did The Army Wives, and then there's an episode of Castle, and then there's Chance at Romance in 2014. So it's kind of like you got kind of
hooked up to Hallmark pretty quickly.
Hooked on Hallmark, if you will.
Hallmark, yeah.
So how did you end up meeting up with them essentially early on in your career?
I guess I just was in the right place at the right time. I mean, I remember seeing the casting breakdown for When Calls the Heart, the movie, when that came out prior to the series. And I read the breakdown and I thought, this is a role that it makes sense for me. I feel like I would really click with this. And for whatever reason, I wasn't able to audition at the time. And then I guess it was a couple of years later, I got the audition for the series, and luckily Penny Perry, who's our Hallmark Channel casting director, I believe she knew of my work from Army Wives, and something seemed to click for her as well, and so they kept bringing me in. And that audition process was pretty lengthy, but that was kind of where everything started.
We have plenty of Hallmark questions, but you were on NCIS LA and NCIS. Which is better?
I don't know.
Come on, no. Based on your experience, Erin, which is better? You don't have to watch the shows. Which experience was a better? They both could have been A+. Which was the better experience of the two NCISs?
I can't answer this. This feels wrong. It feels mean-spirited.
Well, it's not like Mark Harmon's on the line, Erin. Like you can
He's listening. They're always listening.
Yeah.
I wore a sweater on. This matters not, but I wore a sweater on NCIS LA, I think, and it was like a super, super hot day when we filmed, and it was belted a certain way, and the mic was taped ever so specifically. And so I was basically told, like, if you can manage not to take off this sweater while we're filming, that would be really helpful. And I try to be as low maintenance as possible, but I was so miserable. I was so hot, and just like, it was itchy, and I was sweaty, and like all I wanted to do was take off this sweater, but I somehow managed to leave it on. So I don't know, maybe the other one.
So the other one,
because I wasn't wearing the sweater.
That's as good a reason as any. I love it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because it seems like, I mean, you hit Hallmark and you hit the ground running, and it seems like you're pretty much an offer-only commodity at this point in the Hallmark world. Were there any early on, like, bad auditions? Like, do you remember like a specifically bad audition where you walked out and you were like, man, I tanked it. That was really, really bad.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I made some bold choices in the beginning there. I remember auditioning for a play, and it must have been in the script. Why am I telling you this? I feel like why am I telling you this? Well, I've started.
Yeah.
It must have been in the script that the character like flashed her underwear in the middle of the scene.
Oh.
And so here I am in a room with like, probably 3 elderly gentlemen sitting behind a table with their stacks of headshots. And I was just like, well, it says it in the script. So I like,
oh my gosh,
lifted up my skirt. And then I walked out thinking like, that was so inappropriate. Like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And then I don't think I even got a call back, which I'm sure says more about them than me.
Yeah.
But that was a
And they said it's Hallmark. Why would you do this?
Erin, this is When Calls the Heart. I don't know what script you're reading.
Take it down a
You want
notch.
to try that again?
I know.
I gotta be honest.
That's why they had to bring me in 4 more times.
That's right, Erin. I got to be honest. I asked that question to everyone we have on the show. That's a pretty great answer. That's
Oh,
up there.
is it?
Yeah, that's a pretty great answer. In fact, our other best answer for that is also the only other person from Juilliard we've had on, Luke McFarlane, who.
Oh, I love Luke.
Yeah, who got a basketball thrown at his face when he walked through the door to audition for Superman. And the director,
he's too pretty for that.
That's right. And he didn't know how to catch. He didn't see it coming. And he didn't.
Oh.
You just got to ask him the story. The 2 Juilliard answers that may be my favorite 2 answers. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it,
Well,
though.
we aim to please.
Yeah, that's exactly. You learn about
Classic
that
training at Juilliard.
They're just trying to see what you know.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So take us more into that audition process for When Calls the Heart. You said it was a lengthy one. Did Hallmark know, like at this point, it's clear, like this is Hallmark's, signature series.
Yeah.
Did Hallmark know that they wanted When Calls the Heart to be kind of the show that they kind of like, this is like, yes, we have Good Witch and that's great, and Chesapeake Swords, but When Calls the Heart, like it's got this name behind it that it's kind of transcended, I think, Hallmark in a sense. Did they know that that was kind of the goal? Like they had this, the movie that worked out well. Did they know that? Did you feel pressure? Like, does When Calls the Heart going into it, or did it not have that originally?
Well, I think it has grown into the reputation that you've just described.
Yeah.
So that's lovely. But I do recall at that, I think it was at my final chemistry read at Crown Media at their offices. One of the network execs said something like, "Are you committed to this long term? Because we see this being a series that we want to do for years and years to come." And I, of course, said yeah. So I think even back then they had a sense that this was something they wanted to really invest in, which was, great for me.
Were you serious about 4 auditions? Like, did you really do 4 auditions for When Calls the Heart?
Probably more.
Wow.
But that was fine because really each one was like such a joy for me. I was so excited to be working on this character and this material, and I was getting to read with lots of different guys, and there was just a sense that like, oh, this could actually happen. So I was happy to do it. I think there was an initial read with Penny, and then I think there were maybe like 3 callbacks, and then a meeting at the network, and then another chemistry read at the network. So
wow.
Did you do chemistry reads to find Jack as well? Did you have to do those?
Just to find Jack, yeah. Well, and Elizabeth, I guess.
Oh, I thought they had hired you first. I'm sorry, I thought they had hired you first.
No. I mean, I think they had sort of narrowed things down by the end there. It was myself and one other girl, and then Daniel, and we've spoken about this publicly, and Andrew Walker was the other guy who came in. And they were both fantastic. So fantastic, in fact, that though they cast Dan in the role of Jack, they were really excited to find something for Andrew as well, and so they brought him in. I'm sure you've seen.
Oh,
We've
he's a
seen
rap
it.
stallion.
They give him a mustache, which I loved. I took a picture when we were watching and sent it to Andrew, and I was like, I need this to come back ASAP because it's just too beautiful of a mustache, and I think he really pulls it off.
Good stash.
I want to, we're only 8 episodes in out of this recording of season 1, so we've got a lot of ground to cover. But the thing that I think really drew people in early on is the connection that you and Daniel have, like immediately, like the sparks that are there immediately, the way that you guys are able to kind of grow your relationship early on without expressing your feelings, I think is what really drew people in. Talk a little bit about working with Daniel early on and how quickly you guys kind of felt that chemistry, because the chemistry is clearly, even for Dan, it's not his favorite thing in the world, but even he mentions the chemistry is there. So how early on
chemistry's
were you like,
great.
Chemistry's great.
Just gonna be honest, it's there.
How early were you like, this is gonna be easy? Like, Daniel, we just got it.
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you say it's not Daniel's favorite thing?
No,
It's
Dan,
not-
all right,
sorry,
so
this
me,
Dan.
over
This Dan.
here.
Oh, you.
When,
Okay,
when
sorry.
calls
Daniel
the heart.
Lissing loves you.
Yeah, When Calls the Heart, not my favorite show, but my problem with When Calls the Heart is I don't care about Abigail getting the cafe. Elizabeth and Jack, I'm in on this. I'm in on that storyline because you guys, your chemistry is great. So that
So
was
Dan,
what he said.
you love a love story.
I love a well-written and acted quality love story. Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Well, that's good to know. The chemistry, the connection, the sparks, whatever you want to call it, between Jack and Elizabeth. I don't know. I don't think I realized how powerful it would be, how much it would affect our Hardys. I'm thrilled that it did, obviously. I think for Dan and I, we were both having this new adventure together. I had never been to Canada. I don't know if he had. We were both, leads on this new show. We didn't know each other very well. So we were sort of experiencing that adventure and getting to know each other as our characters were getting to know each other. It was really pretty easy. Like, there was just something about working together. It was kind of like, it just felt natural. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah. I wanted to, we've talked to Daniel before earlier this year, last year actually. And he mentioned kind of going through the show, and at some point he was like, I think it's ready to move on. I want to know for you, like when he came to you and was like, I think my time is up here. Like, what was that like for you? Because this is all, it's your career as well, and it's the show, and you had built this amazing thing that people were like, were you scared? Were you like, don't do it? Did you try to talk about it? Like, what was it like for you to have this guy, you're in love on this show, people love the show, and he's like, I think I want to move on to pursue other ventures. What was it like for you as kind of the second part of that pair?
Thanks for asking.
How are you doing?
You seemed like the nicest person alive. That thanks for asking just didn't seem like it was quite as sincere, Erin.
No, I actually mean it. I am very sincere about it. I appreciate you checking in. I'm crying because I'm laughing, not because I'm crying, although I'm crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got it.
So when Dan came to me to share this news, it wasn't, I'm thinking I'd like to explore other options. Yeah. It was, I've gone to the network, I'm leaving.
Oh.
So, he wanted to tell me himself, which I appreciate, because if I'd heard from anyone else, he would have been in serious trouble. I was really, really sad. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like, he had become such a partner in crime. He was like, our working together just worked so well. And it was like riding a bike every time we'd come back to set. It was just easy. And I think I was probably a little nervous about what that meant for the show.
Sure.
And, obviously I care deeply about When Calls the Heart and all of the people whose livelihoods are wrapped up in it. So I'm sure there were moments where I wondered, what does this mean for all of these people? Like, are we still going to have jobs? Is the show going to, if Hallmark lets us continue with this show, will we continue to have the success that we've found without Daniel?
Right.
And luckily we have been able to stay on the air, and the Hardys still seem to be very invested.
How quickly after Daniel made the decision did you hear from Hallmark, yeah, we want to keep going? Because they could have wrapped it up there, and there it is. So how quickly were your kind of worries extinguished there?
I don't remember the exact timeline, but I do think that there was they probably made an effort immediately to kind of like set my mind at ease. Sure. And let me know that just because they were letting Dan leave, it didn't mean that it would be the end for us.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So, Is Jack's dead?
Jack's
Is
dead.
that accurate?
I know we're not there yet.
Oh my gosh.
Dan's sitting over there like,
why? I've been trying to listen, but I am in shock over here. I got to put my pieces back together.
just try.
Let me ask you this, since that cat's out of the bag. What was that like? Hallmark doesn't kill people, Erin. They don't do it. And they killed a guy, and he was kind of the biggest male lead in the biggest show on the network. And so the Hardys were upset. They were really mad, and we know that firsthand. And so for us, like for you reading that, just tell me, can you take me through the process of reading the script where you're like, oh dang, he's not, wow, he's dead. Like Ghost Jack is not coming back in the picture. Take me from that to the fallout of all the Hardys probably tweeting. Chris told us he will still read comments that say, I want Jack back on the show. And I'm personally team Ghost Jack, but that shouldn't affect anyone. Just take me through.
You're not writing the show.
I'm not. Take me through reading that script of, oh my goodness, they're going to kill him, to that kind of the backlash and outburst from the Hardys, and then putting a Band-Aid on that. And then, because look, you guys, you're bigger than you ever were. Season 8 is getting national television coverage. You're crushing it right now. And at that time, it can't have felt like that was possible with the blowback that happened after his death. So just, could you walk me through that?
I feel like there were a number of questions in there.
Yep, there were.
Okay. So I will start by saying I need to take some ownership over the whole Jack's death thing. I didn't just read the script and go, oh, he's going to die. There was a lot of conversation about how do we handle the fact that Dan is leaving the show. And I think everyone was in agreement that he would never just leave Elizabeth. That sort of cheapened their love story. And so the only real way to make it make sense, to make it believable, would be for Jack to die.
Unbelievable.
So
unbelievable.
So what I'm hearing is it was your idea.
You killed Jack.
You pulled the trigger.
That's Erin.
No, that's not
Erin
what I'm
hanging
hearing.
up right now.
And goodbye. Well, look, I mean, you guys don't have to agree with me, and I'm sure there are a lot of Hardys who don't, but I felt that way. If we were to say, okay, Jack is going to suddenly break up with Elizabeth, no one would buy it. Yeah. And the other side of that, if he were to just go off on some mission and then never come back, it kind of puts then at least your romantic lead in Elizabeth just on ice.
Right.
Sure, we'd be getting to tell different stories, but it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. Can I say this real talk? Not only do I appreciate the integrity of the decision, like I think that took a lot of backbone and integrity on a channel like Hallmark to do that. And I think it was the right call, even though I'm not there yet, all joking aside. But it's also very clear that you care not just about the character of Elizabeth, but about curating the best possible world for Hope Valley, because the fans care. And you just, like, it seems like your roots are just very much in deep there, and not because you're getting a paycheck, because you love it. And so, one, kudos to you, but two, how long did that take? Were you in that deep from the very beginning? I know you said you're willing to go long term, but like over the years, has that just kind of grown with the audience, or have you always been that adamant and shown that kind of forthrightness about character decisions like that?
Thank you. It's been from the beginning, I think. I don't really, I try to approach my work and the things that I'm doing with all of my heart and care. And so, yeah, I've cared that much from the beginning. It's a little exhausting, I'll be honest, but I think it's part of, I'm not just crediting myself. I think many of us involved in One Calls the Heart care in the way that I do. And it's probably one of the keys to our success.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, as far as post Jack, when you got the script that said Elizabeth chooses Lucas, what was your first reaction?
Oh, that's cute.
See, but we tried.
We tried. We gave it our best shot. It was worth a shot.
I'm proud of us.
Now, at this point in the show, Erin,
I'm proud of us.
The silence is the best answer. We did it. We did our jobs. We can move on. But at this point in the show, you are so involved with every aspect of When Calls the Heart, and your name's on it, and I know you're proud of it. Do you kind of get the full arc of the season before the season starts? Like, do you get to sit down and say, okay, this is the arc, this is where we're going? And so you kind of know, not necessarily, all right, this is going to happen in episode 5 or 6, but do you know where the characters are going to end up from where they start before you start filming a season of When Calls the Heart?
Sometimes it varies from season to season, and we have had a number of different showrunners over the years, and each showrunner has a slightly different process. This year we had the great luck of working with John Tinker as our showrunner, and he's incredibly collaborative. He was a great partner to me, and he was really good about making sure we were on the same page and that I had a sense of where things were going. But things also change. So sometimes you think you're going in one direction, you end up going in another, or someone delivers a performance that takes the writers in a different direction. It's just, I think it's still kind of fluid, which is nice.
Did they change their mind about if it was going to be Lucas or Nathan during the season?
Oh, wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a great question. I'm proud of the question. I just, the answer is left a little to be desired, but I'm proud of the question.
I complimented you.
No, that's true. That's true. No, you're right. You're 100% right. You got any other When Calls the Heart? Because I got movie questions.
I have one more. And it's really just about the decision about Lucas and Nathan. And I'm not going to ask you who, but I do want to know, like, what ultimately help them make the decision? Do you know in the writer's room, like, were they just waiting for one of the guys to just be a bad actor? Like what were they waiting on for 2 seasons where they were like, all right, now we know. Like, I you know what I'm saying? Like, what went into the
it's got to be more about giving Elizabeth time since Jack, right?
Yes.
But ultimately, someone's getting chosen.
Right. So, I mean, spoiler alert, I know you're not there yet, but obviously at the end of season 5, that's kind of where Dan left, and
she won't say it. There you go. Got one of these.
Died.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Anyway, so when we came back in season 6, it was really important to me that we not just jump into a new romance for Elizabeth. So we wanted to give that time. And then season 7 was more of that flirtation. And then season 8 was kind of getting to know the guys. But really, they're both so talented. They're both great on screen and off. We would have been in great shape either way. And it just came down to a decision that was going to be made with input from a lot of people, including and perhaps primarily the network. So, it's going to be great either way, guys.
It was a best 2 out of 3 coin flip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, let's just
paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah.
They paper, rock, scissors.
They did it. They did it in downtown Hope Valley.
Yeah.
Got him.
It just doesn't. And I maybe it's just me and having watched 8 episodes. So take this for absolutely nothing because my opinion's worthless in this regard. But it just seems like Elizabeth wouldn't end up with 2 Mounties in a row. Like, that seems like seems like it would remind her too much of Jack. That's just my 2 cents. But what do I know? I don't know anything. Let me ask you this. Last When Calls the Heart question. Is there any avenue where Lori Loughlin comes back on the show?
Oh, I really hope so. I mean, I'm obviously biased because she's a dear friend, but I feel like there's a lot more to Abigail's story, and I would love for us to have an opportunity to tell it, because it really was, I mean, we certainly did the best we could, but it was cut short, and and I think she is a big part of what makes When Calls the Heart, and I'd really love for her to come back.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've talked about it. All said, like, literally from the beginning, people have done way worse and still come back and work. We don't understand. She's a big part of the show. We don't understand why she wouldn't come back on. So we're with you on that regard. I do want to talk some about your movies. When Calls the Heart seems to really be your baby. Like, it seems to be very, very important to you. But these movies, and because of that, the movies tend to get a little bit more it seems to me, at least on the Twitter and on the Instagram, people talk more if Erin's in a movie because you're the darling of When Calls the Heart. And so it's like, oh my gosh, the new Erin Krakow movie, whatever that
I'm
may
the
be.
darling. I like that.
You're welcome. And so.
And you don't do like 3 or 4 of these movies a year.
It seems to be a rarer occasion for you to do a movie. And my question is do you have to, because you spend time in Hope Valley and you want to take time to not be filming all the time, and I assume that you're getting scripts from Hallmark, do you have to be pretty selective about the scripts that you do? Like, or are you telling Hallmark, hey, this in my schedule works, let's do a Love Ever After movie or a Christmas movie? How does that work? Because I assume Hallmark would love to have you do a movie every season, and you're the one that has to be like, okay, I've got to kind of guard my time and make sure that I'm prioritizing and balancing and living a normal life.
You are giving me an awful lot of credit. It's really just, it comes down to scheduling, right? So if I'm starting When Calls the Heart in July and we're wrapping in, mid-November or something, it's a question of, is there a movie that's slated to go into production that makes sense for someone like me, that works? And I mentioned Penny Perry earlier. She and her team do an incredible job of matching up their actors with projects that they think they're well suited for. But no, I'm not really like, I'm not telling Hallmark which scripts to give me, or it's just,
you don't turn them down? Like, you don't say, hey, I just got too much going on right now, I can't do it.
I don't know that that's really happened. I mean, there was a project that didn't feel right for me for a number of reasons. This was several years ago, and so I think we looked for a different project. But
okay.
But no, it hasn't really been a timing issue because they know my schedule and they just work around it.
Nice.
I want to ask you about the Father Christmas series really quickly, because there was a period of time where you were playing Elizabeth going, and then 3 years where you got to go back to this Miranda character. That's interesting, and it's very rare for Hallmark to do a trilogy of movies, especially Christmas-based. Was it difficult to keep going back to that character with each movie that followed? Because for me, as the person who loves these movies, I love the first one, and then with everyone after, I wasn't as invested in the story because the love, it was there. I'm happy. So how was it for you as the person who's coming back and playing this character, but doing it 3 different times over the course of 3 different years? I imagine that's a challenge to keep going back to that character.
So are you saying you were most invested in Finding Father Christmas and then less so in...
That is what I'm saying, and I was very invested in Finding Father Christmas. I loved it.
Okay, so I won't take offense. I appreciate that.
No, you shouldn't.
I'll stay quiet over here.
Wait, aren't you the one who loves these movies?
No, I don't like them. He loves them.
Yeah, I love them.
Yes, yeah. I know.
Okay.
I didn't find it difficult to get back into Miranda. I think that the main reason they did these 3 movies was because they were based on these books by Robin Jones Gunn, and they there were 3 of them, and people responded very well to the first movie, and so we were able to make the second one into another movie, and so on. But no, I had a great time on those movies. It was really that was kind of a departure for Hallmark if you think about it. Yeah. I was playing a woman who, who came from a love affair, and then when her mother died, she went in search of her family in Vermont. So that was
that is a bold move for Hallmark, especially that was what 6 or 7 years ago. So that was
16, 17,
16. So 5 years ago. Okay, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think it's clear Hallmark is forging a new path from a content standpoint and from a movie making standpoint, and you've had the ability to see that firsthand because you've been with the network for 7 or 8 years. Are you excited? I'm sure you're excited, but looking at these new opportunities, and this is a good segue to It Was Always You, because that movie seems very much not something Hallmark would have made 4 or 5 years ago. Are you excited about this new direction and opportunity that Hallmark's kind of taken with their actors and their scripts?
Yes. I mean, short answer, yes, absolutely. I'm thrilled with the steps that they're taking forward. I think it's so important. And I'm really proud of the network for doing so. And I agree with you. It was always you. Maybe it wouldn't have been made a few years ago. It's another bold choice. So I'm really excited that they are where they are and that I got to do it.
Tyler told us that he had the first
What
draft.
did Tyler tell you?
He said that Erin is just so high maintenance. And so I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Tyler said the first draft of the script that he received for It Was Always You was unlike anything he had ever read for Hallmark. No questions asked. And obviously they did some things to change that script, but he still couldn't get over, like on that first read, what he was reading. Mm-hmm. Can you just tell us your reaction the first time you read the script and kind of your thoughts?
I couldn't stop reading it. I was so excited that it had been offered to me. Kathy Clovis wrote the script. She's clearly incredible. I loved it. There was so much heart and so much humor. And I just knew immediately, like, whatever we have to do to make this work schedule-wise, we're going to do. And, another thing was, as soon as I read it, I felt like, oh, this is Tyler Hynes. This guy is Tyler. I mean, not that they're the same person, but I just felt like Tyler's going to nail this role. And so I really hope they offer it to him. And luckily,
Tyler seems like the guy that would steal his brother's fiance.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
Oh, no.
I do agree, though.
Aaron.
I agree, because that's the vibe that I get too. Every time I talk to him, I was like, this guy, he's up to no good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You can answer it if you want, Erin. You want to clarify it all, or you're going to stand by it?
No, I think I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, I love it. I love it. You mentioned humor. You're clearly very funny. Hallmark has this thing where they don't allow people to be funny in their movies, and they started to change that over the years. I know that's fine. You don't have to agree. But like for instance, I'm not only talking to some different actors, but just watching the movies. They've got this year, the Christmas movies were funnier than they've ever been. And talking to actors that feel like they get a little bit more leeway. You did Sense and Sensibility and Snowman, and I remember thinking you and Kimberly Sustad seemed to be having like this great banter back and forth, like actual sisters, that lent itself to more natural humor than Hallmark was really willing to do, in my opinion, in years prior. Do you feel more comfortable going for jokes and going for humor in these movies than you did 4 or 5 years ago, or do you feel like it's pretty much the same experience?
It's pretty much the same experience. It's just a matter of what they keep, what actually makes it to air, I think. But I appreciate you saying that about myself and Kimberly. We had a really good time on that movie, and I think it was important to both of us that we create a sister dynamic that felt true to life. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I think more and more we're getting to see more comedy infused into these movies, and that makes me really happy because I always thought I would end up doing more comedy. I just keep getting hired to cry over dead people.
No, and that's
great, but you're getting good at it. So,
Oh, thanks.
I saw a picture from It Was Always You, and Tyler's playing guitar on a treehouse, and I didn't see this until after I talked to him, and I just want to know what's up there, because what's he doing? Like, he knows what he's doing, right?
Nothing as stable as a man who lives in a treehouse.
Yeah. Does he live in that treehouse?
Yeah.
He doesn't live there, but he likes the view. He likes to get up there and, kind of like, he knows he's being watched, so he'll look off into the distance and just like strum a few chords, and he knows what he's doing. By the way, he just texted me and with messages for you guys, so I feel like this is appropriate, right? I should just tell you
for
right
sure.
now.
This is
What
good.
does he want?
He says, "Tell Bran he's charming and likable."
Oh boy.
And Daniel, if he ever gets the number of Hallmark movies I've made wrong again, the Heinies are going to have his head.
They are. That's true. What's funny about that, Erin, is that I said he had made 7 in 3.5 years, and he initially took a little bit of an offense to that. Like I was saying, he was making too many movies. Turns out he had made 8.
Yeah.
So, whatever. So I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever, Tyler.
Yeah, whatever, Tyler. That's right.
That's pretty good.
Sorry, we shorted you one.
What shorted you one more movie? Yeah, I'm sure your bank account minds as well, Tyler.
I want to, if I were to ask you this question, and you be honest, I want you to be honest. Taking It Was Always You out of it, because I think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be amazing. It's the movie I'm most excited about for Love Ever After. Of the other movies, Hallmark movies you've done, is there one that kind of stands apart from, I love this movie. Like I love it.
We're going to exclude the When Calls the Heart?
Yes.
Yeah, let's exclude it.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we're excluding the flick with Tyler.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. I like to know the rules.
No, I appreciate
Totally
that.
fine.
And no takesy backsies either,
right.
and that's an important
You didn't
rule.
get our rule sheet we emailed
yeah,
to you
I
beforehand?
sent it
That's
to your
on you,
people as a
Aaron.
rule sheet. I'm sorry, it must have gotten lost in the
I will call
cloud.
my manager. In the cloud. So I will say, I think Sense Sensibility and Snowman would be up there. Yeah, I will go with that. I was really excited to be reunited with Luke McFarlane, who, as you know, we went to school together, and so that was really fun to kind of reconnect.
Did you know him while you were in school? You guys actually went to school at the same time.
Did I know him?
Oh.
So Luke was a senior when I was a freshman, and I just remember thinking, who is this Adonis? I mean, he's so beautiful and so talented, and he seems to be very nice. Like, how is this possible in one human being? Yeah. I didn't actually know him. I just kind of like looked at him from afar and thought, oh, he's really something. But he was always nice to me, and so it was fun to get to reunite and talk about, like, you know, old teachers and
old Juilliard stuff. You know how it goes, Brand.
Oh boy, don't I?
Okay.
My biggest takeaway from Sense Sensibility of Snowman is the fact that Luke went for it with that hat. He had like a little newsy hat, and I loved it. I loved that he went for it.
Yeah,
it was a decision, and I'm happy that he did it.
Yeah. Is it rapid fire?
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
We're each going to ask you 3 questions about anything. You have to answer them as quickly and as honestly as possible, but more about
this is bad. I should leave.
But more about honesty and less about quick. Like, you don't have to be quick. Don't let it.
They're called rapid fire.
I understand, but it's more about the fire.
Just don't get upset, Brand.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's more about the fire. Are you ready?
Okay.
Dan?
No.
The best meal in Philadelphia that you've ever had.
Wow.
Likely something my mom prepared, but something recognizable would be Rita's water ice.
Rita's water ice. And water ice is how they say it in Philly. I like that.
If you're in Philly, you're gonna say water.
Water.
Yeah.
Oh, water.
Water. What's a place you haven't been that you're hoping that you get to go to?
Great question.
Thank you.
Oh, the list. Are you guys thinking of these on the spot?
Yeah.
Yes, we do all of this on the spot. We don't prep for anything. True story.
Stop it. I wasn't sure. That sounded so like off the
No,
cuff.
we really are doing all of this off the cuff, Aaron. That was not a bit.
We
I'm
genuinely
really sorry.
don't prep.
We have not
for
prepped
this.
at all for this interview.
This is just
is
us
what we
getting
do.
to know you.
It's a true story.
No, you are not.
I promise there's no
don't buy
notes.
that.
I guarantee you there's no notes.
What's
Nothing.
on those computers? Can you turn that around?
Our Facebook group gets to watch it live. That's what's on the computer screen. We don't have any notes.
You have no notes?
0 notes.
Oh, well, I have to say, I mean, I was quite impressed before, but I'm like really impressed now.
God bless you,
guys
Erin
are-
Krakow. You're
doing a really good job.
What's so interesting is-
we will play that clip on everything,
Yeah.
Erin. You just don't even know what you just did for us. Thank you
But
so much.
what is interesting is in our notes at this point it does say get Erin to give us a compliment. So it all worked out well. It all went according to plan.
Yeah. Well, what was your dumb question?
What was my dumb question?
Oh, it was what? Where does she want to
Where
visit?
do you want to go? You haven't been.
Yes. Yeah, the list is long. So I'll just a few places. I'd really like to go to Greece. I'd like to go to Italy. I'd like to go to Spain, Australia. I am not as well traveled as I would like to be. So once the world is safe again, off I go.
Well, Hallmark,
But you know the heck out of Canada, and I think that's all that matters.
Also, Hallmark's doing the location movies, Erin. You got an in. Come on.
Okay, wait. So actually, this is important, you guys. It Was Always You. If it does well, I would really like for us to have a sequel. And I feel like it would make sense for the sequel to take place somewhere far away.
Oh, I like it.
So
yeah, I think if you agree,
I'm campaigning now.
If you agree to come back for It Was Always You Too to our show, I think we can make it happen, Erin.
We have that poll
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Deal.
I
Done
will
and done.
say,
I
I think that if you and Tyler Hines, who's made 8 movies in 3 years, asks, I think you can make
might
it happen.
get it. I think that might work out. I think the
make it happen.
ratings are going to be
Really?
solid for this, Erin. That's just, call me Nostradamus, but I think the
hope
ratings
so.
are going to be solid. What's the most, Erin, the most memorable experience from you growing up in a movie theater? The movie that you went to see that you left and you remember the movie theater experience?
I don't really remember a specific movie, but it was like a tradition. Anytime I'd go to a movie with my family as a kid, the movie would end, the credits would roll, I would jump out of my seat, and again, why am I telling you this?
Let's hear it.
This has nothing to do with underwear, though, so you're safe. I would just jump out of my seat, run down the aisle. The theater's still full, mind you. I'd run down the aisle to the front area in front of the screen, and then just start some kind of interpretive dance to whatever the song was they were playing.
Oh my gosh.
So this is normal, right? All of us did this.
Yeah. How much does your brother hate you?
There she goes again. Or was he joining you? Did you have a duo?
You know what? He was probably too young
Man.
at that point. He may have joined me.
This is such
But this
good
was
stuff.
last year, right?
embarrassing.
This was last year when you did that?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
It was last
for
year.
sure.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little dancey dance. What's a childhood friend that you fell out of contact with that you kind of miss? Give them a message, and we will pass it along.
I'm still a little bit stuck on the embarrassing story I
Yeah,
just told you,
sorry.
and I'm wondering if I shouldn't have said that. A childhood friend who I miss. This feels very personal.
We didn't prep at all.
Bran asked the worst questions. I'm really sorry.
No, it's a really interesting question. I just okay. And it was straight to camera here.
Straight to
Yeah,
camera.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Laurel Schaefer. It's been a really long time since we've talked. I miss you. I see you're doing very well on, various Facebook posts from time to time. And congratulations on your beautiful growing family. Let's get back in touch.
Wow.
Oh, I love it.
You nailed it. That was great.
That was amazing. See, we're
Yeah.
making connections here. And Brian Campbell, I hope you're doing well, pal. I haven't talked to you in years. I know I keep track. I know you got the kid and stuff. It's wonderful. Hope you're doing well.
Michael Benthal, we had a falling out. but I'm ready to mend fences.
Was it him or you?
It was him.
Yeah. That's
Erin-
Michael for you.
Erin, I'm going to put you on the spot. I need an honest answer. Don't give the political one, please, because you've just crushed this interview so much. In your mind, the ideal number of seasons for When Calls the Heart?
Oh, boy.
We were actually just talking about this as a cast. We were sitting around Abigail's Cafe and having a conversation about what felt realistic. And
You got it.
I just want to keep going. If you're asking me right now, okay, but it's not PC is the thing. It's
Okay,
genuine.
okay.
So,
Oh my
so
gosh.
it may also be PC. Okay. You know what? We were doing so well.
We were. We
you
really were.
convinced me that you actually liked me this whole time, and now I know what's going to happen.
I saved it for last, but I just give me a number, Erin. Even if it's 20, just give me a number.
Great, 20.
Oh man, shouldn't have given her an answer. I did so well up until that point. I gave her an answer.
You did.
Do I have one
did.
more?
I think that no. I don't remember. Yeah. You got one more. Go.
Okay. I brought this up to Tyler. I think Tyler needs to be brought into When Calls the Heart. I said I think you should swoop in right before you decide and take you away and be like, it was always you. Do this whole thing. I think it would be really great. But is there, if Tyler was to come into the When Calls the Heart universe, what type of character would he be? What would kind of be his thing in Hope Valley?
I would like, let's see, something with like body paint and
Yeah.
I don't know. I would really like to give him some kind of weird challenge. Like maybe he's a magical sprite from a distant land and he comes in and I haven't thought about this too much, but I want to do something like kind of funny and weird and embarrassing for him.
No, I think
he's been doing this since he was 7. It's like time for something weird and new.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Erin, you are a joy. Let me be honest. You're an absolute joy. You must come back and do this again. I mean it in all seriousness. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. You gave us a full hour and you didn't blink at a single question. I mean, God bless you.
Thank you. It was really nice chatting with you guys. I will admit, I was nervous. I thought maybe one of you liked me and one of you hated me. I wasn't quite sure how the formula worked, but you've both been very nice. So thanks for having me.
I love you. And how can people follow you on the social media if somehow they're not already doing that and they're also watching this?
They can follow me on the social media @ Erin Krakow. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and I live tweet the When Calls the Heart episodes, as well as I'll be live tweeting It Was Always You on Saturday night.
Fantastic.
There you go. It Was Always You this Saturday, 9 p.m. on the Hallmark Channel. Watch it. I mean, who isn't going to be? Am I right?
That's right.
Everybody.
And I just got in our producers here. Watch When Calls the Heart, episode 5, when she chooses Nathan. That's what you need to look out for.
Oh, interesting. Right episode 5, they do it halfway through.
Yeah. Interesting. It's wild.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
That is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's your producer again?
Tracy is her name.
We don't talk. We don't need to. Thank you so much. And you know what? May we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
Hallmark is a Bramble